Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, changes have been made to Senior Week after surveys have gone out asking seniors how they want to celebrate their graduation.
And with Halloween now a week away, the Quinnipiac community is being reminded of what is and isn't an appropriate costume to wear.
And the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship has been reopened today.
All this and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Good evening, Quinnipiac, and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Chris Stacy.
And I'm Shane Dennehy. Quinnipiac University seniors will see a change to Senior Week festivities this year. The university has decided to hold different events throughout the school year instead of the week-long celebration that it had in the past. Q30's Callie Keys has the story.
Senior Week has been a tradition at Quinnipiac for years, but this year, that tradition has been broken. After 2 surveys sent out to the student body in July and September, the results are in. And this year, Quinnipiac will now be offering a senior year experience. And the vote was a close one.
It was within a 10% that the senior experience won.
During Senior Week, seniors lived in their old dorms, and events like a trip to Mohegan Sun and Holiday Hill and a senior formal were included. This year, there will be several events throughout the spring semester. The events will be released
January, right after the new year. I'm going to be able to send out an email with all those events, the pricing, what the packages are going to be.
This change comes partly after the destruction that occurs to the residence halls each year.
In the past, it was thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Another reason for the change was the cost. Senior Erin LeDrew voted for the senior experience because of the cost difference.
I personally just didn't think that I would be able to afford paying for the few days of all of the Senior Week activities happening at once. So personally, I'm kind of excited to see what it is because I didn't even know if I'd be doing Senior Week at all.
For the class of 2017, the cost was $317 for 3 nights and 4 days. For the class 2018, it was $325 for 2 nights and 2 days. But other students are disappointed with the change.
That was something me and my friend group have been looking forward to since we lived here freshman year. We were like, we need to go back to Mountain View Senior Week, and it's like upsetting that that won't be able to happen.
PanSAC is encouraging seniors who are interested in the senior year experience sign up for the exclusive insiders list, as they will be the first to know about the planned events. On the quad for Q30 News, Callie Keys.
There's a new shuttle route available to students that will take them to shopping malls in the area. The new shuttles were proposed after students were asked in a Student Government Association Tuesday 2's email if there was any student interest for going to malls on Saturdays. The new shuttle route was approved for trial run for 3 different trips. The first trip will be on November 3rd to Clinton Crossings. November 10th shuttle will go to the Connecticut Post Mall. And the last shuttle will be on December 1st to the Clinton Crossings once again.
This week, Quinnipiac students started registering for classes for next semester. Students began registration this Monday, and with the increase in traffic, self-service students have experienced difficulties with registering. Students are experiencing long wait times as they wait for self-service to process their classes. Students who do not get their classes they want will have to petition to get into the classes, or they can take a different course in its place.
Today, Quinnipiac University celebrated the reopening of the People's United Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. It was hosted by the School of Business, and guest speakers include Carlson Highsmith, the Vice Chairman of the Quinnipiac University Board of Trustees. For more, we go to Sarah Russell, who was at the ceremony.
It was a logical thing to do, to look at this great university and make an investment in what we're talking about tonight, innovation and entrepreneurship.
The People's United Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship reopened tonight in the School of Business. The center is part of the 10-year agreement between People's United Bank and Quinnipiac, where the bank has donated $5 million to the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and the Center for Women in Business.
That contribution is going to allow the center to do some things that it did not have the resources to do before.
Both People's United Bank and the university have high hopes for the center's ability to help students.
I would like to see a lot of people come through the center, a lot of students come through the center and have a wonderful experience, whether, as we talked earlier, a lot of failure, that's okay. A lot of learning comes from failure, but some successes too.
I look at it as a resource and a safe place for students to get some insights about running their business.
McKinney says the center is for students of all majors. The center is open to all students and staff who wish to work on creating business ideas, and a resource for any step in the entrepreneurial process.
As long as you have a dream and a desire to see that dream come about in a real live business, I think the center might be something you want to consider.
This spring, McKinney will be starting the Innovation Interns Initiative, where students will be connected with local businesses, and their internship will focus on students working on innovative projects for the businesses. Sarah Russell, Q30 News.
Quinnipiac students will be celebrating the Halloween holiday this weekend, and because of that, Public Safety and Hamden Police will be taking extra precautions. Q30 spoke to Quinnipiac Public Safety Training Officer Brad Bopp to find out what these precautions entail.
We will have extra officers working, as well as Hamden will have extra officers working the outer parts of campus, as well as the inner part of the campus that normally we have the PD working. And we're going to have them this weekend as well as next weekend.
With Halloween a week away now, the Multicultural Society at Quinnipiac is reminding members of the university community that what is and is not an appropriate costume to wear. The Cultures Are Not a Costume initiative is in its third year now, and it serves a reminder to students to be conscious of what their costume actually represents.
Today on the North Haven campus, Mark Fuglieri, a Boston Marathon bombing survivor, spoke on his road to recovery, and the inspiring conversation was followed by a Q&A session with the survivor. Fuglieri describes himself as a father, a mentor, and a bombing survivor. The event was hosted by Graduate PT Club and Graduate Student Affairs.
Last night, Q-Thon held its annual Halloween kickoff event in the lower cafeteria. Attendees were encouraged to wear their costumes. There was candy, mummy wrapping contests, and even one of the miracle children from Connecticut Children's Medical Center in attendance. People were also able to decorate cookies and pumpkins. Q-Thon will continue its quest to raise $323,000 by hosting a fundraiser at the Side Street Bar and Grill from 7 to 10 p.m. on Sunday night. All items on the menu are there for purchase, will go towards the fundraiser. So students are encouraged to come out and have some wings for the kids.
7 employees from the Division of Public Affairs have moved into their new home. They moved into a house on Whitney Ave next to the WQUN building. Public Affairs has been located in the Development and Public Affairs building on the Mount Carmel campus, which is located adjacent to the new athletic fields on Hogan Road.
Chris, the leaves are changing colors and the temperatures are dropping.
Luckily, we have Kay Pattyfote in studio to give us a preview of the weather ahead. Kay?
Welcome to the WQAQ Morning Show. Dan Ball and Emma Spagnolo joining you here from the QAQ studios in Hamden. And Emma, it is that time of year again.
And tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Qcash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
Let's get it going. Sports Pulse starts right now.
We start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite?
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Khalil Davis is a former Quinnipiac student that had to leave Hamden because of financial reasons. Q30 spoke to Greg Ehorn, the Vice President for Admissions and Financial Aid, about tuition and student debt. Kaylee Heffler has a story.
It is no secret the cost of a higher education rises each year. College is becoming more difficult for students and their families to afford as tuition prices skyrocket due to competition.
The university each year conducts a lot of research in terms of what our inputs and costs are, what our competitors cost, what the traditional increases have been across private higher education, things like that. So we price ourselves each year deliberately within a group of pricing competitors.
Tuition prices are unlikely to decrease, but Quinnipiac University strives to provide more financial aid each year.
So while I don't anticipate us decreasing, I think within that competitor group, and that our prices will be more modest over time. Each and every year we're always trying to provide more financial aid, either through internal or external sources through endowed scholarships.
Some students, even with the help of financial aid, are still unable to afford the high price of a Quinnipiac education. Khalil Davis, a former student at Quinnipiac, unfortunately had to withdraw from the university for financial reasons.
It was an eye-opener for me, $60,000 is a lot.
The average student graduates with just under $40,000 in debt, while students from Quinnipiac graduate with just under $50,000 in debt, making a $10,000 difference. Leaving Quinnipiac has impacted Khalil, not only academically but socially, as his friends are still here attending school.
I have friends at school, which I'm still friends with now, but it's not the same.
Khalil would like to return to Quinnipiac, but does not see how that is possible at the current moment.
For me to turn back to QU, it's not like I don't want to come back. It's just the financial, the money.
Kaylee Heffler, Q30 News.
The Quinnipiac Student Programming Board has multiple events scheduled for the next week. On Friday night at 10 p.m., SPB will be playing bingo in the lower calf. On Saturday night at 5:30, SPB will travel to Six Flags New England for Fright Fest. When that trip gets back to campus at 10, they will then go to the Rotunda for some spooky snacks. Sunday at 1 p.m., they will host Oktoberfest, where students will be able to pick out and decorate pumpkins.
Comic Sans will be having the group's first show of the year on Friday, October 26 at the Performing Arts Center on Sherman Avenue. The event will start at 6:30 p.m. and will last for about an hour. Comic Sans has had 4 new members to the group and promises that, quote, it is like old Comic Sans, but younger, end quote. The Quinnipiac University Asian Student Alliance hosted their event, Mia Mochi. During the event, there was a showing of popular Asian animated films by Hayao Miyazaki. While the films were playing, sushi and Japanese sweets were served along with a table to create origami cranes for cancer. The event took place in Eklund Center on the Mount Carmel campus.
A dozen Quinnipiac students volunteered their time to help an 85-year-old Korean War veteran from Shelton, Connecticut. The students, who are a part of a physical activity and community service course, joined forces with members of the House of Heroes Connecticut chapter to complete a major landscaping project on the veteran Harold Welch's property. Welch said he is overwhelmed with the work the group did.
Well, now, Shane, we're all caught up on all things Quinnipiac news. Let's shift gears and take a look what's going on locally in Hamden.
Noom An is here with the update to update us on all the things that have been happening recently. Noom?
Thanks, guys. Senator Richard Blumenthal urged Connecticut to get flu shots on Monday. Blumenthal spoke on the importance of flu shots after Connecticut's first flu death of the season. The Department of Public Health said that the patient was over the age of 65. So far, the flu have also left 22 people hospitalized in Connecticut. A social media threat targeted Wilbur Cross High School on Sunday. New Haven police have come to secure students and staff since the threat was reported. The school resumed half-day on Monday. The New Haven Board of Education said the credibility and origin of the threat is still unknown. If you live in the New Haven area, take advantage of Walmart. They now deliver to you. Walmart customers in New Haven can now shop groceries online. The price is the same as in-store. The business says at $9.95, shoppers can have food delivered to them, and the delivery time is within an hour. TripAdvisor has crowned a New Haven pizza restaurant as the third best nationwide. Modern Pizza made the travel site's latest compilation of best pizza places in the country. TripAdvisor said the rating was based on diners' reviews. They also listed the restaurant's Italian bomb as its signature slice. And that's your local news report. Back to you guys at the desk.
When we come back, Kay Pattyfoot will have your full 7-day forecast.
And John McMahon is here to update you on this week's national news. Stay with us.
Hello, and tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. QCash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
If you like debate, that's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
Analysis.
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
And a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad in your room or off campus, tune in to Q30 News for stories from student journalists who you can trust.
We're covering the latest here on campus and in the surrounding communities.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Hello and welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Shane, it's finally starting to feel like fall out there.
Chris, it definitely is feeling like fall. The leaves are changing colors on Sleeping Giant, but unfortunately for us, we can't climb it. But luckily, Kay Pattyfoot is here with your full weather forecast.
Yep, so tomorrow it's going to be 50 degrees and it's going to be sunny. On Friday it's going to be 53 with the low of 42. On Saturday it's going to be a little rainy, so it's going to be 50 degrees. On Sunday it's going to be cloudy and 51 degrees. On Monday it's going to be 55 degrees and rainy as well. And on Tuesday it's going to be 51 degrees and partly sunny and partly cloudy. And on Wednesday it's going to be sunny and it's going to be 52 with the low of 38 degrees. Around Connecticut and in Hartford, it's 49 degrees right now, really cold. In Torrington, 44 degrees, Danbury, 47, New Haven, 50, New London, 49, and Norwich, 48 degrees. Back to Shane and Chris at the desk.
Thank you as always, Kay.
Shane, some scary news today as there were many suspicious packages found around the country. John McMahon is here to update us on all things national news. What do you got for us, John?
Thanks, guys.
Suspicious packages have been sent to former President Obama, the Clintons, among other public officials and news centers this week. Authorities were able to intercept the packages before being opened. A package sent to CNN News Bureau in New York was addressed to former CIA Director John Brennan, containing an explosive device similar to that sent to the Clintons, Obamas, and one found earlier this week to billionaire Democratic donor George Soros. Initial examination of the devices showed that they're similarly constructed and described as rudimentary but functional by law enforcement. Secret Service officials have said that the packages were intercepted before being opened, and both the Obamas and Clintons were not at risk of harm. Officials have reason to believe the series of packages are linked in a targeted attack. NBC host Megyn Kelly is under fire for her comments about blackface and Halloween earlier this week. Kelly questioned whether or not blackface was racist or not, mentioning that, quote, "When I was a kid, it was okay, as long as you were dressing up as like a character," end quote. Kelly's comments about blackface came under question after the broadcast. Kelly issued an apology Tuesday saying that, quote, "Today is one of those days where listening to other points of view, including from friends and colleagues, is leading me to rethink my own views," end quote. Kelly was acquired by NBC from Fox News in 2017 after signing a $23 million deal. In some lighter news, who wants to be a billionaire? Well, one South Carolina resident is after a single ticket won the $1.5 billion prize. The winning numbers 5, 28, 62, 65, and 70 were sold at Casey Mart in upstate South Carolina, outside Simpsonville. This is the biggest single winner ticket in jackpot history. Store owner CJ Patel will receive $50,000 for selling the winning ticket. Patel says that he will, quote, "do some good with the money," end quote, and hopes that the lucky winner will do the same. The winner has yet to claim their prize. Well, that's all I have for this week's National News Update. Back to you guys.
Thanks, John. It's time to take one last break.
But when we come back, MJ Baird will update us on all things Quinnipiac sports, including an upset victory for the men's ice hockey team.
And Quinnipiac is looking to carve a pumpkin with lasers, but needs some help from the students on how to carve it. You will stay with us.
Let's get it going. Sports Ball starts right now.
We start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite?
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Q-Cash is accepted.
Now that's a sandwich.
If you like debate,
That's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
analysis,
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
and a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Thanks for sticking with us. And Shane, an exciting week in sports. The men's ice hockey team played some big games against some big competition.
That's exactly right, Chris. The men's hockey team played its third Hockey East team of the year. MJ Baird has an update on the week that was for Quinnipiac athletics. MJ?
Yeah, that's right, guys. But before we get to those winter sports, fall sports are in playoff action. So the Quinnipiac women's soccer team just wrapped up its MAC regular season with a 1-1 tie on the road against Manhattan. But the game actually had no playoff implications. It was a 2-2 tie between St. Peter's and Ryder earlier this afternoon that clinched a playoff spot for Quinnipiac. The Bobcats are the 6th and final seed in this year's postseason. Quinnipiac will play the 3-seed Siena in the first round of the MAC tournament on Sunday. In other MAC soccer action on the men's side, Quinnipiac hosted Niagara this afternoon here in Hamden. A great offensive showing for Quinnipiac. First half, Auriac Villa with a left-footed strike. This puts the Bobcats up 1-0. Second goal of the year for the freshman. On to the second half now. Check out this beautiful ball to a streaking Rashawn Dolly. Dolly, his shot beat the defender, but it couldn't beat the post. But Eamon Whalen there to clean things up in front. The junior now with a MAC leading 11 goals on the year. Quinnipiac would add a third goal from Sala Umaru and win 3-0. It was the second clean sheet of the year for sophomore goaltender Jared Mazzola. Hockey season is well underway in Hamden, and many fans are starting to believe that the Quinnipiac team that they know and love is finally back. And this is part of the reason why. Quinnipiac hosting the then number 18 team in the country, Boston College, Friday night. And a team with a lot of new faces relied right there on their veteran. That is senior captain Chase Prisky. He scores on the 5-on-3 for Quinnipiac in the first period. And that was all the team needed as the Bobcats sent the Eagles back to Boston with a loss. And it's not only the fans who think the team is back. Those on the inside think the same.
There's so many things that go into developing a good culture. I thought we lost it a little bit last year. Through 3 games, it looks like we have it back.
We came together last spring after a season, and we were just tired of losing, and it's not acceptable here. We don't have a losing culture, so we came together and we reestablished our standard of excellence.
Christian Shane, plenty of fall sports action in the coming weeks, especially in the playoffs. Check out all our content on social media at Q30 Sports. Guys, back to you.
Great work, MJ. Thanks. Before we go, it's that time of the year where people are starting to carve their pumpkins for the Halloween season, and Quinnipiac is also carving a pumpkin of their own.
That's right, Chris. After last year's Quinnipiac Q was laser engraved into a pumpkin last year, the university is asking the student body via Instagram which of the pumpkin should look like this year. The 2 options are a bobcat or the clock tower. There's also an option to write in a suggestion. That's all the time we have tonight on the Q30 Newscast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 News. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up to date on all our content.
For our news director, Callie Keys, the production staff, and all those hard-working behind the scenes, and for my partner, Shane Dennehy, I'm Chris Stacy. Have a good night, Quinnipiac. Hey, good job, man.
Good job.
Yeah, sports.